He said it was John who said, that which we have seen, we have heard, our hands have handled it. It was John who said that, because John at that time was writing to a certain believer who came, who indoctrinated, infiltrated the church and started saying there is no God, there is no God, there is no God. Now, when they challenged John, and John said, we preach about Christ that we know. Somebody said, what about if he doesn't exist? We know him, we saw him, we touched him. Experience. John said, we know. You see, listen carefully. Your experience about God must be beyond the God in church, the God on television, the God on a newspaper, the God you heard. Your experience about God must grow beyond what you heard. John said, that which you have seen, we saw this man. You know, John we're talking about, John was the closest to Jesus. John the beloved, closest to Jesus. John was part of the people who were there when Jesus died. John watched everything. John even came close, even when Peter was not there. Struck the shepherd, and the flock was scattered. So the disciples had scattered. John was going. John came close. John saw the nail. John saw him wounded. John saw everything. Peter didn't see. Peter disappeared. Remember, it was John who was there, that when Jesus was there on the cross, he talking to John and the mother, he said, mother, behold your son, and son, behold your mother. John was there. John saw everything of the experience of the doctrine of Christ. I prefer John to some of the apostles, because John had an encounter. John had experience greater than some of the apostles that we read today. I will tell you the reason now. Look at John. Now, all the apostles, the disciples of Jesus were killed. Now, let me tell you how John, now what happened, the account of John. The Bible says one day they took John, we're talking about now the Matthias of Christ. They threw John into a large vessel of oil with an intention to cook him alive. A large vessel of oil, it was burning. They took John into that large vessel of oil. And the people who threw him, they thought it's over. From the large vessel of oil, cooking oil, the man was thrown into it, and the man escaped. That's the reason why in some of that we call him some John the Divine or John the Beloved. The divine because of experience. He escaped a large cooking vessel of oil. He escaped it. From there, his eyes opened. He started writing Revelation. God showed him Revelation. I'm talking about experience. The man was able to see now, present, and the future, even beyond the future. Because heaven is not a future. When you talk about future, now he saw rapture, he saw the coming of Christ, he saw the Armageddon war, he saw the judgment, he saw. These are what you call future. But heaven is not a future. Heaven is an encounter. Because beyond heaven there is no other. You see there? So John said, what we have heard, we have seen it. We have seen it. If you're a follower of Jesus Christ, what is your conviction? Do you have a conviction to follow God? You have a conviction. If you're a child of God, do you have an encounter? Encounter is what keeps a man in the midst of trial. Encounter is what keeps a man in the midst of persecution. Encounter is what keeps a man when the days are dark. Encounter is what keeps a man when the journey is raw. A man who has had encounter cannot be distracted, irrespective of the challenges. That's the reason why you've got to have an experience. I've seen God. I know who He is. I know what He can do. I was sick, He healed me. I was down, He restored me. I was broken, He caused me. This is who God is. So you need to know Him beyond what you hear. There has to be an encounter.